How's it going, folks? How's it going tonight? Happy Friday the 13th. Another video. Okay, this one won't be too long. No politics. This is all in homage to today's Friday the 13th. Take a look at my shirt. Is that not badass? No lives matter with a hockey mask. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, I've been seeing a lot of. As everyone knows that follows me knows I'm a horror movie fan. And you can tell that by looking at my pinned tweets on how I answer the door to vaccine Gestapo fucks. But I was asking all these things and posting things about Friday the 13th. What was your favorite episode? And you know the name of the killer in the first movie? And so on and so forth, and this and that. Well, I've been a fan of Friday the 13th and other horror movies too. Halloween and Freddy and Leatherface and so on and so forth. Back in the day, horror movies today are just like kind of ridiculous, man. They're, like out of control. Horror movies today, like the Saw series and shit, they make like Jason look like the Super Friends cartoons and shit. For Christ's sake, it's ridiculous. Okay, so what I'm gonna give you my take on the Friday the 13th series. My favorite. Everyone says, "What's your favorite episode?" Well, I don't have a favorite episode. I have a favorite series, and what I mean by that is simply this: part one to part four. And why do I say that? Because that's when Jason was still, even though he was horribly disfigured and deformed and whatnot, he was still a human being. He was still mortal. You can still fight back against him. You can still defend yourself and still like fight back, as you saw in part two, part three, and especially the final chapter where he was ultimately killed by Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman. After that, they got ridiculous. Part five was some imposter guy. In part six, he came back like an unstoppable freaking King Kong or Godzilla guy from resurrected by lightning, and that's when it became like a comic book. And I mean, I've always still been a fan, but that's when I lost interest. Like, okay, now you guys have you took the reality of it out of this, so to speak. All right, that's what I mean by that. Because face it, it's not unheard of that, and it actually has happened. Not in the sense of Jason, I'm saying a fictional character, but there has been serial killers that are like some crazed mad hermit that lives up in the mountains in fucking Wyoming or whatever, Colorado, that kidnaps women and does all this shit. It's kind of a different concept, but I mean, what I'm getting at is it was still human. That's what I'm saying. That's not unheard of to have some mentally deranged fucktard running around in, denim freaking coveralls and a pillow sack over his head, hacking up people that thought that wandered into his territory and he just killed everybody. At least he wasn't a racist. Jason was a god damn it. What the hell was that? I got moths and shit and dragonflies landing on my face. As usual here in Louisiana, man, you never know what's gonna happen when, especially when making videos at night. Man, you gotta love it though. Next thing you know, a freaking copperhead snake's gonna come out, and they're gonna watch out for that. But anyways, yeah, part one to four is that's when I lost interest after that, and that was my favorite part because, like I said, it's still not inconceivable. It was still believable that you could have some guy that not drowned and then came back. That's not what I mean, because he never really drowned, as the story goes. He faked his drowning, as those two counselors were doing their thing and banging each other, and he faked his drowning and then snuck under a dock and came out. I got paperback novels. Actually, they're worth several $1,000s. I bought them at a real good price from an old lady at a garage sale that didn't know what the hell they were worth. Paperback Friday the 13th Part 1, 2, and 3. All written by Stephen Hawke. Man, they were actually good. They're pretty much verbatim for the movie, but they go into graphic detail. And there's a lot of stuff in those paperback novels that's not in the movie. And the way he describes things is like, man, that's freaking scary. I'm looking behind me and shit. And making sure, what the fuck, man? It snuck up on him. Like part 2 with the sheriff deputy that chased Jason to his cabin. In the movie, there was only like a 30-second scene, but the paperback book, it goes into graphic detail. It'll take you like at least 15 minutes to read all the pages. That it's, you get the point. Just try to find those online, buy them for yourself. They're very scarce, but okay, it's about it. I don't want to go into too much detail. Again, I know the country is burning and we're all in serious trouble, but today is Friday the 13th. I'm a huge Jason fan and a horror movie fan. Fuck politics. So I want to get my take on where I stand with Friday the 13th. My favorites are part 1 to 4. After that, they became like, cartoons. That's about it. Alright. As usual, I'm talking about a fictional serial killer. Regardless. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Bye. Have a good night.